Hello, and thank you for coming on to BIP Chat with me. And in front of you, you'll see Ben Price, who is a wonderful young man, in a father and a husband, and somebody who that we're absolutely loving getting to know, and who actually did a beautiful January the 1st moment down at a beach, and they went in with some men. And the subject of today is how Ben works with men that appear successful on the outside, but they're actually fighting on the inside. And I think all of us, men and women, can appreciate that.
Mm.
There is such a drive now to have an identity and almost convince yourself of that identity, and really not be living in alignment. And that's what we're going to talk about today with Ben. But before I properly introduce Ben, I just want to introduce what BIP Chat is, because it might be the first time you're listening to it. And if it is, hello, I am Penny Power. My husband and I, who've been married for 36 years this year, have been dedicated to helping business owners in communities by creating community. And 5 years ago, we created Businesses Personal 100, BIP 100. And we decided we wanted to find people who were experts in their marketplace and create like an expert marketplace for you to be able to find people that could help you in your business or in your life. And the business's personal part sort of gives away in that our personal life, our personal mindset, our personal development impacts our professional development, our business, and vice versa. And so we love to find a way of bringing people that bring a balance of that. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. How many of us have maybe started this year? We're recording this right in the first week of January. How many of us have started this year maybe wondering what we're wanting to achieve this year and who are we, and maybe finding that there are parts of us that aren't really as happy inside that we would like to be. And Ben helps people with both in their relationships, where are they aligned, where are they not aligned. So this is going to be fantastic. So Ben, hi, lovely to see you. I'm very excited about talking about this today, and also about the amazing feedback I get from people who have really had the joy, many bippers had the joy of spending time with you, down at a camp around a campfire on a beach,
Yeah, lovely.
which is one of the places you love. Now, what's interesting about your life is you were in the special forces. So I think before we go on to providing people with this wisdom that you have, I think it's really good to explain to people really where the foundation of this came from. Because as a person young to me, you probably don't feel as young, but you've been through a lot, and you've gained a lot of wisdom by being in a group of men and some women in Afghanistan and Iraq. And so tell us a little bit about your life up to now and the special forces and all the way through to becoming an entrepreneur yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it has been a busy life so far,
It
actually.
has.
On reflection, when I think about it. So I joined the military. I joined the Army Intelligence Corps at 19, and then I deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq 4 times in total. And part of that was, as you said, working with special forces, worked with the Gurkhas, who are a lovely bunch, and yeah, had some interesting experiences. One of which was having a conversation with a suicide bomber, which you know about, and kind of realizing that he had been enrolled into kind of a fallacy, or he'd been enrolled into somebody else's vision to do this, take out this, complete this task, which was to blow himself up. And thinking, well, this guy doesn't know the whole picture. And then thinking, well, I don't know the whole picture, really. What's the difference between the enrollment that I've had to be here and the enrollment that he's had? And then kind of leads you into thinking about how your mind gets programmed, how your beliefs get shaped, how your thinking gets shaped. I've always been a kid who asked why, which doesn't work well in the military. So I didn't do amazingly well. I did okay in the military. I did well. And when I talk to my old sergeants and stuff, they're like, no, you did really well. But I definitely uh, probably butted against the authority a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So it didn't really suit me. And then I decided to leave.
Yeah, which took courage and a lot of strength to do
Mm,
that, because you become a very strong unit, a strong family, and it becomes part of your identity. So you obviously did a lot of work when you came out with who you are,
mm.
and so there was a journey for you, wasn't there, that up to this point?
Yeah. So interestingly, that identity journey that a lot of service people struggle with when they leave didn't really happen to me at that point, but it did happen to me later after I sold my business, my gym business, which was the next thing. So yeah, I had the identity, but I was ready to leave after 8 years, 4 tours. That's like every 2 years I was away. So
Yeah,
it was busy, and I didn't really aspire to any body beyond where I was. So I thought it's time to leave and do my own thing. And yeah, so I became a personal trainer,
yeah.
and then I built a gym.
And then you build a gym. And I think you are a deep thinker. You know, it's always fascinating to have chats with you, and I know everybody that does spend time with you finds it really enlightening and lightening as well. So, what you found by the types of people you went out there into the market, said I want to help people, and the people that came to you, you recognized that they had this fight inside them, that they just were struggling
Mm.
with. On the outside, they looked like life was just rosy and fantastic,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
inside.
yeah,
And
exactly. You start peeling away the layers, and you start finding things out. And that happened with the gym, because the gym was an incredible training ground for me, because I spent 7 years building that gym and worked with and tried to coach. So it wasn't just a gym where you showed up and did your training and then said goodbye. There was a bit of a coaching element to it. But a lot of those people didn't really want to be coached. They resisted the process a lot. And it would be really interesting and fascinating to me, because I would see them kind of punishing themselves in the gym for their bad behavior, or like exercising because their relationship sucked, or and it was just or emotional eating, you know.
mm,
And you start working with a few people, and the few people who actually did what I said had amazing results. And when they executed and they took the actions, it was incredible. And when they let you in, most of us are so guarded, because we've not been taught, especially guys, we've not been taught that it's okay to talk about what's going on in there. Uh, and in the military, you know, I think my whole life was teaching me to detach from my emotions, and then the military training on top of that just kind of amps that up even more.
mm,
So I started to reach a bit of burnout with the gym, and I started to become exhausted, and and eventually the gym started to fail. And I had a coach. Who helped me sell it. He helped me understand. So this is when the identity thing happened for me, because I built this gym and it was doing really well, and then it wasn't doing so well, and I was like, oh, it's a reflection on me as a person, and I felt like a failure because the gym was failing. And yeah, that's when the real work started, and that coach really helped me a lot and taught me a hell of a lot.
wonderful. I think I think it's so evidential when you meet people who have actually invested in themselves and found that way of feeling at peace with who they are. But you do often need others. I've had a therapist over the last 18 months. You often, and it can, everything is, everything can look and be pretty fantastic. But what's going on inside
Mm,
my head comes from, I mean, I've discovered back to when I was between the age of 14 and 19 with
yeah.
family challenges that we were having, and it's really fantastic when you've got someone that will really help you through that journey. So it's a really beautiful thing you do, and your life experiences and the way that you've interpreted your life experiences has really helped you to have that empathy with others. So you love working individually with people, but also in groups as well. So tell us a bit about the campfire experience you give to men when they come together as a group.
So yeah, usually I work on a deep, high level basis with one to one with men, and then I also run some camping experiences where my clients will come, and then you know if I meet someone and I feel like they're a good fit to be in that environment, then I'll invite them along to a camp. The camp's called Camp Ochi, which is one conversation can change everything.
Oh, I love that.
And it is that. It is about having, it's about being there for the one conversation that can shift everything, because it's just about the lens you see life through. It's the lens we see life through. So when someone
Yeah,
shifts that lens, that problem that you have doesn't is not a problem anymore. It's actually could be an opportunity, um, or the thing you were beating yourself up about, the war that you had inside of you. It's shifted, and it's just it's not so much a what, or you can let it go, or there's all sorts of
yeah,
things that happen. But the fire, and just being outside in nature all adds, and just being in a group of trusted, safe men who are also grounded and calm,
yeah,
and not trying to one up each other, and not trying to be better than each other and in competition, is a really powerful thing that men have had throughout most of human history, and now we don't, and
yeah.
that's a big problem. So
It's very beautiful. And the impact of listening, not just being heard yourself, but listening to others and normalizing that human experience as a man and realizing these aren't unique must be incredible for them.
I love doing that,
Yeah,
because that's what we do. Especially, I think maybe men more than women.
yeah,
We think it's just us.
mm,
And one of the things that came out of the campfire last time was, um, multiple people said, "I just don't feel like I'm doing enough." And so as soon as that came up second time, I just stopped the conversation and I said, "Just everyone, put your hand up if you've ever experienced that." And everyone puts their hand up.
yeah,
It's like, oh, we're all experiencing the same thing, but we don't talk about it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we talked when we were chatting about this conversation we're going to have. We talked about, this is this. Some people can check out of things, love, relationships, business, check out really when they don't need to, but there's just something that needs to heal in order for them to align with it. And I
Mm.
think you were telling me that you've worked with somebody on that where,
Well, it's not always healing as such as it's just getting in alignment with your truth,
yeah,
figuring out what your truth is. Like, so one of my clients was literally about to leave his wife, change all of his business, and just make some pretty big changes. And we had a 3 hour conversation. He's now back with his wife. His business is thriving, and it's after one conversation. It's
yeah,
amazing, really. And yeah, we've had some other follow-up sessions since, but in a relatively short time you can shift. And it's not me telling him the direction to go. It's just asking questions and figuring out, should I leave my wife, or shouldn't I? There's that thought process can go round and round. It's a big decision, and it can keep you up at night. And should I close this business, or should I keep it open? It's a big decision because it affects lots of people. I'm going to make people redundant. I'm going to let people down. And so just having somebody who's detached from your situation and can see it from a higher level, and be neutral about it. Well, I
mm,
found it very useful, and
yeah.
my
Oh,
clients do. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Beautiful to think that, relationships have been saved, business has been saved when he was obviously in a crisis, but he was,
Yeah, and everything looked good from the outside.
yeah,
Everything
yes,
did look good.
exactly.
I was quite
Exactly.
surprised when I found out a lot of these things.
And there's a beauty in the way that you communicate because you're very calm and you have these wonderful pauses that encourages people to speak.
Mm.
In fact, I'm gonna open up here. This is the second time we've recorded this podcast, and we didn't put the other one up because actually it ended up with Ben interviewing me because I can sense how much you're wanting to understand people and help them through different things. So I love the values you shared with me, 5 sort of core values that you encourage people to find their alignment and really start to live by, which I think we can all benefit from them. Would you be happy to share them with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So misalignment costs energy. So it's so important to get, well, there was over the Christmas period, I made a little tool, and it was the clarity alignment matrix. And I realized the clearer you are and the more aligned you are, the more on fire you are. Now you can have alignment and not be clear, and it feels like everything's very hard. You're kind of taking actions, not really going anywhere. And you can be clear, and then you can be unaligned, and then you're just kind of, you know what to do, but you're not doing it. And then you can be neither, where you just have chaos in all sorts of parts of your life.
Yeah.
And the values that I coach my clients around, and they were ones that my coach gave to me, really help you with all of that. So the first one is integrity. Pretty simple. Simply put, is just do what you say you're going to do. And you think that's a really easy thing to do, and everyone says, yeah, I do that all the time. And then you actually ask them how often. I get people to track it over a week or two, and they're like, oh yeah, it's not so and obviously I'm there to hold them accountable as well and go, well, you did say this, right? And I don't do that. I sort of mentioned it off camera just now, but I don't do that in a way which is telling them off, which I used to do when I was a personal trainer. It's very frustrating doing that, so I don't bother with that anymore. But yeah, do what you say you're going to do, honor your word, and honor it with action. And that's massive. The samurai used to have a code. Part of their code, it was called Bushido, and they're well-known people. The samurai were not just warriors; they were like upstanding citizens of Japan. And if a samurai said they were going to do something, it happened. You just knew. That's kind of one of the things they were known by.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah. I think it's how you build trust, really, isn't it, with others?
Yeah, but not just others. So obviously, it's yourself. So a lot of people say they can't trust themselves. It's because they're saying they're going to do stuff that they never do. I'll start the diet on Monday. I'll meet you at the coffee shop. I'll give you a call later. I'll get back to you about this thing. I'll email, and then they don't do it.
Yeah, it's very easy to break that thread. Well, you could feel the break a thread, how it breaks when it's somebody else letting you down.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably don't feel yourself letting yourself down in the same way, but you are actually doing that.
Yeah. And what do you say? As soon as you realize you haven't done something, what do you commonly say? Oh, I'm so stupid. Yeah. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh,
I've got no willpower.
Oh, I've got no willpower.
I'm not disciplined.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know.
And then the war begins. So yeah, so that's the first one, integrity.
Yeah.
The second thing is radical responsibility. We are responsible for everything we experience in life. No blame, no excuses. And again, it kind of makes sense. It sounds easy, but even the things where you feel as though you're unfairly treated, or somebody's doing something which is kind of, it's them doing it, but it's affecting you. How can you take responsibility for that? That's challenging. But again, it's usually the lens that we see things through. So we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So if I feel as though I'm a victim in some way, I will see the times where I'm a victim.
Yeah.
Whereas if I don't see myself as a victim, then I'm just not going to see it.
Yeah, that's really true.
The obvious one is the car. Have you heard the car analogy where, if you're thinking about getting a new white Tesla, you start seeing new white Teslas everywhere. They were always there. It's just that you now have the lens to see things in that way. So yeah, it happens in how we think of ourselves as well. It's quite amazing.
Right.
And really hard to accept.
It's also such, when I support and know a lot of people that do coaching, and it can be one of the greatest disappointments and challenges when you're coaching others when they don't take responsibility for themselves, and it becomes so apparent really quickly that they'll spend the money, like joining a gym or hiring not take responsibility for the fact that life's not changing for them.
Yeah, well, a lot of people want to outsource their press ups, don't they? That's what you used to. I bought this gym membership. Like, why aren't I fit yet?
Yeah, I know.
Can't do your press ups for you. You got to do them. Yeah.
And the third one
is alignment.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we've been talking about. But I remember a while ago when I was with the gym and I was thinking, oh, what's the most unapologetic version of me? It's not me. I'm not stood in a warehouse all day, like running this gym. And I really wasn't running it. I was doing marketing campaigns and sales. That was it. And I was like, this is not me being my most unapologetic self. If I was being my most unapologetic self, I'd be around a fire in the woods, which is what I get to do now. So, so figuring it out, what is the most unapologetic version of you, where you can just say, this is what I'm going to do. I love you, but I don't care what you think. And acting in that way, because, we were saying earlier that a lot of men will have and appear to be very successful, and they'll appear to have everything sorted, but they're just doing something that they're good at, but they don't love. So they're not being the most unapologetic version of themselves.
Yeah. It's very hard to connect deeply with someone when they're not really being themselves, isn't it? In a relationship, in anything, really, because you can sense when somebody isn't just happy to be who they are.
Yeah.
And that must be one of the great things when people sit in the groups, is obviously with the one-to-ones with you, it's even deeper, but in the groups, when they suddenly can drop their shoulders and think, I can just talk like I've never talked before.
Literally drop their shoulders.
Yeah.
I literally had somebody show up to one of the camps and his shoulders were up by his ears.
Yeah.
And I clocked it and I thought they'll come down. They'll come down by the end. And they did. They came down a couple of inches. And then I met up with him a few weeks later and he was like, oh, my shoulders are so good.
Yeah,
like they feel great. And it's just
well, your mind manifests in your body so much, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which again, I noticed that with the gym, because I would be coaching. I used to be a massage therapist as well.
Oh, wow.
So I'd do massage on one person. They have an amazing, they feel amazing. And then the next person, there'd be nothing. And I'd be like, well, what's going on? What's the difference between these two people? And you start realizing that the stress is literally being held in their body.
Yeah.
And no amount of massage is going to help. It's a conversation that would help, or some kind of release of some kind. Yeah.
I've got a very quick funny story about that. I used to years ago go to a kinesiologist in Guildford. It's about 6 years ago. And I always got undressed bra and pants. These receptionists would send me into the room undressed bra and pants. And so I did it just automatically. He never used gowns. He wasn't pervy. He never used gowns. He was a lovely man. And one day he walked in and he said, well, we're sitting and talking today because I think you need to talk. And I sat for an hour in my bra and pants at a desk. But it was very powerful because he knew that there was stuff going on that he wasn't able to shift with my body.
And you were literally naked.
Literally. Yeah, but it was very
taking off all your armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's that. Next one. We've sort of talked about the next one, but
accountability.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. So when you fall short, which you will, because you're human and you will screw things up, to not hide it, but to step up and go, I own my mistake and I take responsibility for it. And then you just course correct and you restore trust through action. And then I always say, like, who are we restoring trust with? It's not just the person you let down, but it's also with yourself. Because like you said, you lose trust with yourself if you don't hold your word. Yeah, you do.
I love that. And actually, being married for 36 years, it's a successful marriage, but there is nothing I like more than when Thomas owns up to the fact that it was his mistake.
Yeah.
He's very good at it as well. In fact, it's
Well,
probably something I could learn.
it's probably why it's a successful marriage.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and I think you have to be able to be in a relationship with someone then doesn't then rub your nose in it.
Yeah.
You know, you've owned up. That's so trust. That
100%.
helps me trust you and know that, of course, none of us are perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
And the final one is actually the word of the year for me.
Yeah.
Which is
Courage.
a great word. Yeah. Courage.
Courage just means moving forward in spite of the fear. So feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Because, well, to broach a certain topic that you've kept hidden from many people for a long period of time could be very scary. Could induce some fear. To switch a career, to own up to a mistake that you have made. The reason people don't do that is because of fear, really.
Yeah, it's good. And I loved it when you were saying to me when we had a bit of a chat about how lack of it can keep us stuck, just stops us. You said everything you want is on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I
got
taught that. I got taught that in the army as well. That was,
yeah,
you're gonna, because they're preparing you for the fact that you're probably going to be in a firefight at some point, and it's going to be scary, or there's a bomb going off. It's going to be scary, and you've still got a soldier. You've still got to do what you need to do, and yeah. So I think the core values that I was taught in the army were really useful. Actually, I thought they were great. That they was, in a way, they were similar. Some of these are similar.
Yeah.
Sea drills. I still remember them.
Oh, really?
Courage, discipline, integrity, loyalty, selfless commitment. Yeah.
That is lovely. I wonder how many people actually do consider their values, and also what is the number one value that they need to drive through that maybe
I can tell you
lack of courage for me last year in my personal life, coming to terms with some shifts and changes in our family really, really screwed me up. And I knew this year, when all these changes are going to manifest with the directions that three of the Power family kids are going in, I was going to need to be courageous. I couldn't, and it's really helping me to have, and I do a 6-minute meditation on it every morning. I even bought drops from Neil Yard called Courage,
nice.
Which I put into water, and then it's in my mouth while I'm meditating. And it is incredible as a value, courage, how much it's, I've got 6 days in a row now, I've done it, and I can already feel a shift in myself, because I am a courageous person, but sometimes we're just not accessing it enough, and we can be stuck or become a burden to others by our own lack of addressing it.
Yeah.
So I love that word.
I'm just, by the way, I'm resisting asking you any questions.
I know you can see that, and I know when we stop recording, we can go into it. It's not anything that I'm hiding from anyone, but I think that's the purpose for today. So is it interesting, right at the beginning, when we talked about men that appear successful on the outside but are fighting on the inside, and you talked about some of the symptoms that people might be feeling but not realizing that's what's going on, and just give an idea, how would somebody be feeling when that actually is what's going on in their lives?
Short patience, short fuse, decision fatigue, laziness, lack of discipline, unclear, muddled.
Yeah, I think you said exhausted, drained. You said as well.
Drained, yeah, and maybe resentful towards who they're themselves and to other people.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful. So this has been a great conversation. I want to get it out as quickly as possible because I think it's a brilliant New Year conversation. Because
true.
I think it's interesting. America, I remember watching shows in the 80s and people talked about going to their therapist, and I remember English people really taking the mick out of that. And now I think the greatest people I know go and have internal coaching support, and you can just see they vibrate at a higher energy level, and they're attracting more opportunities, and life is better.
Mm.
And also how sad to get into your 80s or 90s and not have done any of the repair or
Mm.
the work on this. And life is so special when we have the chance to have it on earth.
I saw something yesterday which said most men die with their dreams still inside them.
Yeah, yeah, it's so sad. And I know people talk about, things are so tough, but actually we do have a lot of choice nowadays. We do have a lot of freedom. We do have lots of different directions we can go in and still be safe. But it takes, your values, it takes courage, it takes self-awareness and all these things. So if somebody's interested in talking to you, one of the things I know it's really important to you as one of your values is you never put pressure on people, because you just genuinely love to see if you can help people. So how can they get in touch with you other than asking me for a connection? Or obviously if you're a BIPper, you've got all the details for Ben.
At Coach Ben Price on social media.
At Coach Ben Price. Okay,
Yeah.
so they can DM you like that.
Yeah, I'm a good looking one.
Yeah, and obviously I can, well, that's very true. I can or Thomas can help direct you. And I think if you're just wanting to have a little bit of a chat and then see whether you might enjoy going down to and be in a forest around a campfire, or maybe arrange some one-to-ones with Ben. But I think it's really vital. And I think anybody that's gone through a lot of personal development and letting go of stuff that was holding them back, and that is myself. Life changes so radically once you can do that. So
yeah, I echo everything you say, and also it's not what I do and who I am is not for everyone, and it's okay. And don't let that stop you from going to. You got to kiss a few frogs before you find the prince, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And maybe I'm a frog, but kiss
well,
me
I
anyway.
think the primal desires inside us to sit around a campfire with other people. I don't think there's anybody that wouldn't actually enjoy that as a starter for 10. That would be a great thing. So
it's magic.
And I know you've got several of these campfire dates coming up, so you can share that with people if they're interested. And thank you so much, Ben. I absolutely loved this. I really enjoyed it. You've given me a lot of food for thought as well. And I hope if you've been listening to this, you've enjoyed it.